y'all, Dixie here. I have been getting a lot of questions about the Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie story, so today I would like to address those. I feel like at this point, most people have probably heard of this story, but in case you've been living under a rock like I tried to, I'll give you the Cliff's Notes version. Gabby Petito and her fiance Brian Laundrie were doing van life on a road trip across the country, and they had been gone for some time, but Gabby was regularly keeping in touch with her family back home. Well, suddenly, sometime towards the end of August, they abruptly stopped hearing from her. By September 11th, she was reported as a missing person, and then they found out that Brian had returned to his home in Florida with the van that the couple had been traveling in. But he was uncooperative with authorities when they were trying to question him about Gabby's whereabouts. Then poof, Brian up and left, and he's been missing ever since. During that time, they found Gabby Petito's body, and her death has been ruled as a homicide by way of strangulation, and she was found in the Grand Tetons area. So if you're wondering, okay, but what does that have to do with backpacking or this channel? Well, about the time that Gabby and Brian were known to be in the Grand Tetons area is when my videos of my trip from that area were coming out on YouTube. So people started looking at the date and going, oh my gosh, Dixie was in the Grand Tetons area at the same time that Gabby and Brian were there. So questions started coming in asking me if I had seen Brian and Gabby, or if I thought that I had video footage of anything that would be useful for the FBI and getting more information about their visit there. So those are totally reasonable questions, but when I go out on a hike and document it, I have to go on the hike itself, collect the footage, and then go back home, upload the footage. It has to be edited, then uploaded to the channel, and then y'all finally get to watch it. So I always have a little bit of cushion time from when I'm in an area to when the video actually is put out online. So I ended up missing them by at least a couple weeks. But even if I had been there at the same time, except for the town of Jackson itself, I don't know that they crossed the path of any place that I had been, at least in the wilderness, because it is a pretty big area, and where I was actually hiking and camping is not the area where they found Gabby Petito's body. There were also some questions and concerns about trail safety and protecting yourself from another human on trail, but I'm not sure that this is necessarily that type of problem. I do understand that people are innocent until proven guilty, and I won't get into all of the speculation, but at this point, Brian Laundrie is the only person of interest that I've heard of in this case. So at this point, with the information that's put out there, it doesn't seem to be necessarily a wilderness safety issue and a running into strangers who harm you issue. For those who wonder what I do to protect myself on trail though, I've got a couple of videos where I've talked about safety while hitchhiking. And also one of the top questions that I got when I came off of my thru-hike of the Appalachian Trail, and that was, did you carry a gun? So I'll link some of those in the video description for people who want to learn more about what I do to protect myself out on trail. Since Brian Laundrie up and disappeared, there has been a lot of speculation as to where he could be. Some people have said he might be in the swamps of Florida, and then it was going around that he could be on the Appalachian Trail. And so friends and family, and even when I went to the orthodontist the other day, they asked me if I thought Brian Laundrie could be on the Appalachian Trail. But the truth is, I have no idea where that dude is, and I have no professional training in wanted man behavioral studies. So he could be anywhere, I suppose, including those areas that are up for speculation. But the bottom line is, at this point, all of that is speculation. I will say though that it's not completely far-fetched for somebody on the run to hide out on the Appalachian Trail. In fact, when I was at Trail Days during my thru hike in 2015, one of America's most wanted men was arrested there at Trail Days because he had been hiding out on the AT for a while, disguised as a hiker, where you go by an alias, pay cash for most everything, and grow a beard and change your appearance. But sure, Brian was known to backpack, so there is a chance that he could be out on trail, just like he could be at your local Walmart shopping. But you could use a little bit of extra caution knowing that when you're out hiking, but it is fixing to get pretty cold out there. But one of the most wild comments I've gotten in the midst of all of this is that I should go out there and search for Brian Laundrie. What? Just because I hiked a trail one time 6 years ago does not qualify me to go out there and find the man that's on the run. So I'll just leave that to the professionals. Anyway, this is obviously a very horrible situation and I feel terrible for everybody involved. I guess on a positive note, I don't know that it's necessarily positive, but I know this case has brought light to other missing persons cases. There was even a gentleman who was from Texas that had been missing, and in the search for Gabby Petito's body, they found his remains in Wyoming. And then recently, during the search for Brian Laundrie, there was a body found on the Blue Ridge Parkway. So hopefully those families have a little bit of closure now, and maybe the other missing persons cases that have been brought to the light will also offer some closure for those families. I think one thing that us as backpackers can do is when we go out on a trip, whether it's local or you're going to an area away from home, if you do a quick Google search just on people who might have gone missing in the outdoors in those areas or specifically on those trails. I know there are at least 2 people that I've shared information about who went missing during their thru hikes on the Pacific Crest Trail. But anyway, that's something that we can all do to contribute a little bit and know some things to look out for when we go out on a trail. All right, y'all, well, that is all I have to say about that. Hopefully that clears the air and answers those questions. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we will see y'all next time.